Things You Don't Know About Lion King Part 1. Hello viewers. How are you? Welcome to Nibir Network. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for upcoming videos. With that said, let's go to our discussion topic. The Lion King is a 2019 American musical film directed and produced by Jon Favreau, written by Jeff Nathanson, and produced by Walt Disney Pictures. It is a photorealistic computer-animated remake of Disney's traditionally animated 1994 film of the same name. The film stars the voices of Donald Glover, Seth Rogen, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Alfre Woodard, Billy Eichner, Kani, John Oliver, and Beyoncé Knowles-Carter, as well as James Earl Jones reprising his role from the original film. The plot follows Simba, a young lion, who must embrace his role as the rightful king of his native land, following the murder of his father, Mufasa, at the hands of his uncle, Scar. Plans for a remake of 1994's The Lion King were confirmed in September 2016 following box office successes for Disney remakes, such as The Jungle Book, 2016, which was also directed by Favreau. Favreau was inspired by certain roles of characters in the Broadway adaptation, and developed upon elements of the original film's story. Much of the main cast signed in early 2017, and principal photography began in mid-2017 on a blue screen stage in Los Angeles. The virtual reality tools utilized in The Jungle Book's cinematography were used to a greater degree during filming of The Lion King. Composers Hans Zimmer, Elton John, and lyricist Tim Rice, all of whom worked on the original soundtrack, returned to compose the score alongside Knowles-Carter, who assisted John in the reworking of the soundtrack and wrote a new song for the film, titled Spirit, which she also performed. The film serves as the final credit for editor Mark Livolsi, and it is dedicated to his memory. With an estimated budget of around $260 million, it is one of the most expensive films ever made. The film was theatrically released in the United States on July 19, 2019. It has grossed over $1.6 billion worldwide, surpassing Frozen as the highest-grossing animated film, and is also the second highest-grossing film of 2019, and seventh highest of all time. It received mixed reviews from critics, with praise for its visual effects, music, and vocal performances, particularly Rogen and Eichner, but criticism for its lack of originality and facial emotion on the characters. Here are the 10 things you don't know about Lion King. Number 1. The Lion King wasn't always The Lion King. The Lion King went through a few different titles, including the King of the Kalahari and King of the Jungle. When I first started work on The Lion King, the movie was called King of the Jungle, producer Don Hahn said. King of the Jungle was a metaphor for this allegorical story about human behavior, Hahn continued. We were thinking about the idea of how it's a jungle out there and Simba has to exist in this jungle. However, there was no jungle in our story, they're out on a savanna. But then we threw that out because we wanted to focus on a simple story about a Lion King. At that stage we thought, why not call it The Lion King? Number 2. One of the screenwriters dubbed it Bamblette. Screenwriter Irene Mechi said in the making of The Lion King that the idea for the movie was first presented to her as Hamlet in Africa with Bambi thrown in, so Bamblette. Number 3. Changes of the opening scene. The Lion King's opening scene changed once the directors heard Circle of Life. According to the Making of the Lion King featurette, the animated film's original opening scene featured a dialogue introducing most of the main characters. But directors Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff scrapped it when they heard the final version of Circle of Life. The Circle of Life-filled opening scene was so powerful that it was used as a trailer for the film. It marked the first time Disney had ever made a trailer using a complete scene. Number 4. Animals, and their relationships were different in earlier versions of the script. The animals, and their relationships to one another, were different in earlier versions of the script. The Lion King's original script featured Scar as a lone lion, unrelated to Simba, who was in charge of a pack of vicious baboons. In this version, Rafiki was written as a cheetah and Timon and Pumbaa were both friends with Simba from the start. Number 5. The Lion King was the first Disney movie to feature an original storyline. The Lion King has long been billed as the first Disney animated film to feature a completely original storyline, that is, one that was not an adaptation of a pre-existing story. Though there are some individuals who dispute this claim, saying that the story took inspiration from both Hamlet and Kimba, the White Lion, an animated series from the 1960s. Number 6. Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella auditioned to play hyenas. Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella, who voiced Timon and Pumbaa, respectively, originally auditioned to be hyenas. They came to an audition in New York and they bumped into each other in the lobby, which is when they discovered they were both auditioning for the roles of hyenas, director Rob Minkoff said. They asked the casting director if they could audition together and they were hilarious as they read their lines, but they didn't seem right for the hyenas. That's when we thought, what if we use them as Timon and Pumbaa? It was the perfect fit. Number 7. At one point, The Lion King was going to feature a Cheech and Chong reunion. Cheech Marin and Whoopi Goldberg were eventually cast as the hyenas, but the original idea was to cast Marin opposite his former partner in comedy crime, Tommy Chong. We had a really tough time finding the right voices for the hyenas in the movie, Minkoff said. Gary Turisdale, one of the directors of Beauty and the Beast, helped us out in the early stages of development and he created an entire storyboard of the hyenas as if they were played by Cheech and Chong. It was hilarious, but Cheech and Chong weren't working together at the time. We heard that Whoopi Goldberg was interested in the film and when we asked her if she'd like to voice a hyena she said, "Yeah, great." So we got Cheech and Whoopi instead of Cheech and Chong. Number 8. Ed the Gopher had to fill in as Scar at the last minute. Jim Cummings, the voice of Ed, the Gopher who reports to Zazu in the film. He also filled in for Jeremy Irons as Scar on last third of Be Prepared when Irons threw his voice out recording the song. Jeremy developed vocal problems while he was recording that number, Cummings said. So the producers asked me to come in and replace Mr. Irons. Sing the last third of Be Prepared in his place. Number 9. The Lion in the Moon, a Lullaby, was deleted from the film. After Simba's first encounter with the hyenas, the film was supposed to feature a lullaby sung by Sarabi called The Lion in the Moon, which was about a protective lion spirit. Number 10. Hakuna Matata wasn't in the original script. Hakuna Matata wasn't originally in the script, instead, there was a song about eating bugs called He's Got It All Worked Out. We couldn't convince everybody that making the entire song about eating bugs was a good idea, Minkoff said. Soon after, the research team came back from their trip to Africa with the phrase Hakuna Matata. We talked about it in a meeting with Tim Rice and that's when the idea struck. I remember Tim saying, Hakuna Matata. It's a bit like Bibidai Babidai Boo. A song was born. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button below and please don't forget to share with your friends.